Now, down to that pile of gummy bears and back. I should probably set the pile out further, or closer, so I can get at them.
So I can get at them. Hey, everybody, what's up? What's up? We are back. I cut the intro a little short. I usually wait till it flashes Power Up Podcast, and then I play a funny clip. I guess I was too anxious. But hey, how's it going? Said we would be back 8 p.m. Central Time, and here we are. Another Power Up Podcast episode where we take a look at what's happening in pop culture, seeing what's good, what's bad, what's ugly, all that fun stuff, and yeah, give our 2 cents about everything. I know the big thing that's happening right now is the PlayStation 5, PlayStation, State of Play or something like that. Seems like I saw, what was it? God of War remaster, the trilogy. Those are getting remastered. Like a Metroidvania, I thought I saw a type of God of War. I might actually have an article about that one coming out. And what else? I saw something else that popped up as well. Oh yeah, Metal Gear Solid, the Master Collection, Volume 2, that will officially have Metal Gear Solid 4. So that means we can go beyond the PlayStation 3. But the big question is, will they make sure not to touch anything? Will they not bastardize anything? I haven't even played the new, what is it, Delta Snake yet? The remake of Metal Gear Solid 3. But we'll check it out at some point. But yes. But if you enjoy this sort of show, like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you don't like it, that's fine too. You can leave a dislike, leave comments, whatever. But yeah, we've got some articles pulled up here from Spider-Man Noir to apparently, because Discord is now going to require everyone with the whole age verification things, I guess searches for Discord alternatives have been skyrocketing. So we'll take a look at that amongst other things. So let's hop into it, shall we? It comes from Tech for Gamer. I saw this. So we know the memory shortage. Apparently it has led to people dumpster diving for RAM sticks. Memory prices are on the rise worldwide, and RAM sticks are on their way to becoming a rarity. Prices for these particular PC components have risen significantly over the last few years, even impacting DDR4 and DDR3 RAM. Gamers are companies now face the challenge of coming up with a creative solution to the problem. Although unconventional, one Redditor has shared a very interesting experience recently, stating that he went dumpster diving and ended up scoring a DDR4 RAM stick. It's incredibly valuable in 2026, and it's because of all the AI crap. It's a huge shock that some people would throw out working memory kits in the current year. As shared on Reddit, the user recently ended up getting his hands on a whopping 64 gigabyte DDR4 memory when exploring his local leftovers. Perhaps the best part is that this was far from everything he ended up securing. With the full haul also included the 10th Gen i7 CPU and a Samsung monitor. For those curious, this much memory costs between $400 and $500 on Amazon at the moment. Needless to say, the Redditor found himself quite the steal in exploring the waste left behind by other people. But the question is, does it still work? The comments, many Redditors joked about the value of the RAM itself. One user even commented that the 64 gigabyte RAM could be sold for enough money to buy a 600 series BMW. Jeez. Explaining the incident, the Redditor explained that the memory was left abandoned on the floor in a box after the shipping container left off its monthly waste. He also shared the past finds, including items such as TVs and laptops, through the same process. As such, this time does not appear to be the first big score for the user when going through waste in his hometown. Because perfectly fine memory kits were abandoned by someone for seemingly no reason in this instance, the story likely came out as the result of unawareness regarding the current situation on memory around the globe. However, as the years go on, these instances will likely become rarer and rarer. Perhaps this is your cue to go dumpster diving in the hopes of stumbling upon a few memory sticks. Back in college, I did some dumpster diving, and by dumpster diving, when we saw people moving their crap out and there was something they had, we said, hey, we'll take that from you. And they're like, yeah, here you go. I do like how they used the thief with the memory card. Very, very good tech for gamers. Very good. So this comes from Fandom Wire. And apparently, reports claim Microsoft could make another major change to Xbox Game Pass just a few months after the price hikes. What's up, Mr. Sardock? Over on Rumble. It's like Valve needs to partner with Elon Musk and make their own payment processor and start making hardware, CPUs, GPUs, RAMs, SSD. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it really, we just need to start making that stuff here in the US. We need to stop outsourcing stuff. We've outsourced so many stuff to other people. So if you thought Microsoft was done making changes to Xbox Game Pass, you might be in for a surprise. A new report suggests that the company is internally discussing another big change to its subscription lineup, despite the recent price increase only a few months ago. Oh, I've seen Wario 64. So ultimate price is now $30 a month. Microsoft confirms changes. This was back in like October. So this is just an example of like it changing. When was this article? It's recent. Okay. We really need to start replacing this mafia. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And people need to not sell out when they come knocking on their door being like, yeah, we'll just buy your company and give you X amount. I remember that with the whole cell phone thing too, like Verizon and all that stuff. Microsoft celebrates 25 years of the brand in 2026. It is also dealing with declining hardware sales. So a change like this isn't really unexpected, but we should note that nothing has been officially announced. The rumored plans hint at a simplification of Game Pass tiers as the company plans the future of Xbox across console, PC, and cloud. Microsoft is reportedly exploring a Game Pass tier merger. So according to the report from The Verge's Tom Warren, Microsoft could be merging Xbox Game Pass Premium with PC Game Pass into one subscription tier. Yeah. Right now, the two plans are priced similarly with different benefits. A merged tier would combine these perks in one package to give subscribers access to both PC and console libraries alongside first-party games at launch. I mean, that would be quite a doozy, but again, I like to actually own my games, you know? Especially for PC, like for Steam and stuff. It's like, I would rather just get whatever title I want and then be able to download an offline installer and install it, not need that stuff. Oh, I'm definitely not planning to selling out. I mean, I don't plan to anytime soon. Like, I have a subscription for Nintendo just to play like Super Nintendo and NES because it's pretty cheap. It's like if you do it monthly, it's like $3 a month or something. If I wanted to upgrade to that, then it'd be like one of the online subscription tiers, like from PlayStation and stuff. But I'm not ready to do that for PlayStation nor Xbox again. When Nvidia dangles a GPU in front of me and says, look, consumer, we have a new graphics card you could buy. I'll counter with fabulous, and I can show you where you can shove it. Right up the butthole. You think that this is a logical decision that could make the service easier to understand, and we do agree there, but the biggest unanswered question is price. The reports note that there has been no decision on any price changes, but we also wouldn't be surprised if there was another hike. After all, it was just in October last year that the price for the Game Pass was hiked to nearly $30 a month. Yeah, and we saw that back up there. Another thing to note for the report is that Microsoft is not expected to roll out any major Game Pass changes in 2026. Whatever this potential plan is, it's still in the early stage planning. So if a merger happens at all, it won't be likely until like 2027 or so. So outside the Gaming Pass tier merger, Microsoft is also said to be exploring ways to, quote, expand Game Pass through additional third-party service bundles. We've already seen some of the idea in the present. For example, some of the current Game Pass subscriptions include benefits like EA Play, Ubisoft Plus Classics, Fortnite Crew, and other in-game rewards. We could see more changes in this aspect in the future. Perhaps the company could add more external services to increase a perceived value, especially after last year's price hike. That would help Microsoft justify higher subscription costs while keeping the appeal on Game Pass. At the same time, there's also the fact that Microsoft is looking beyond price alone. We've seen reports that the company could also be looking to add a free ad-supported version of Xbox Cloud Gaming. Now, this wouldn't be part of the Game Pass tier, but would rather be a way to add more reach to the Xbox ecosystem, potentially funding more users into paid subscription. For now, all of this is speculative. Microsoft has not confirmed plans to merge Game Pass tiers or adjust pricing in the near future, but it's an important year for the company, and we could very well see some big changes. I mean, yeah, but we've seen how certain companies do stuff where they like the best tier is going to be the most expensive one, you know? So it's almost like just smoke. It's like smoke and mirrors in terms of like, yeah, we're going to merge everything together, but it's like, but if you increase the price hike, then what's the difference? Good luck competing against Valve with Windows 11 where AI is shoved in every orifice. Dude, frickin' Windows 11, and it's garbage. I wish I was more tech savvy because I have been checking out Linux stuff, but I mean, I would want to, at least have something still solid, like still Windows. Some people are like, oh, you could run Linux and then run a virtual machine and stuff like that, but you have to know what you're doing and all that stuff. So last show we talked about Bad Bunny in the Super Bowl halftime. Well, I guess the numbers are in from the Nelson. So coming from that Park Place, the Bad Bunny halftime show record viewership narrative collapses as finally Nelson numbers show year-over-year decline. So the early media victory lap surrounding the record-breaking Bad Bunny halftime show viewership is already falling apart. So in the immediate aftermath of Super Bowl LX, entertainment trades and mainstream press outlets, rushed out headlines declaring the performance the most watched halftime show in history. Preliminary projections floated to a massive 135.4 million viewers, framing the show as a cultural milestone and a record-shattering success. There's just one problem. Those numbers weren't final, and they weren't accurate. Now that the official Nelson average has been finalized, the Bad Bunny halftime show viewership narrative has shifted dramatically. Planning to fix the old machine, and once it's running, try Linux on it. If it runs what I want, I'll put it in parallel on the new machine, and if it runs everything I want on the new machine, bye-bye, Windows it is. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Because right now I've got my current machine, which for the most part is fine. I've kind of... Once I kind of get situated with everything, and in case something bad happens, really what I should do is with my old PC is it has Windows 10 on it. I should just do a system like a clean reset and then try to put Linux on there and something like that, just in case if something happens. But I almost want another computer just to have that specifically be the experiment computer with Linux. And if we start getting a good ball rolling and understanding a lot of stuff, then we can make the switch and then just get rid of the old one. But anyway, back to this. Now the final Nelson data tells a very different story. So the updated Nelson reporting shows that Bad Bunny halftime show averaged 128.2 million viewers. While still an enormous television audience by any traditional metric, it falls well short of the early projections that fueled the, quote, record-breaking headlines. More importantly, it represents a decline from the previous year. Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime performance in 2025 drew 133.5 million viewers, meaning Bad Bunny show dropped roughly 5.3 million viewers year over year. And that's where I want to say that shows where they went to watch the Turning Point USA alternative. You have no idea who this guy is. Nobody knows who he is. It's just because he's everything. You know, he's a lefty, all that garbage, all that nonsense spouting because, he's pro-immigration and all that, blah, 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 blah. That anybody, that just because he was sticking it to Trump or the conservatives, people are like, oh, yeah, I've always been a fan of him. This is how they always work. Once he becomes irrelevant, no one's going to care about him anymore. Don't think you missed out a lot. You did not. The reversal transforms the entire story. Instead of growth, the halftime show experienced contraction. Initial reports also pushed another now debunked talking point that more viewers turned into the halftime show than for the game itself. Finalized data shows the opposite. So you got Variety. Halftime show reached an average 128.2 million, breaking various NFL social media records. Nelson measured 124.9 million viewers for this year's Super Bowl, higher than the average of 124.9 million overall this year, but lower than wow, look how much they're trying to shove and make it seem like, no, it's still really good, guys. It's still really good. Oh my gosh. The Super Bowl LX peaked at approximately 137.8 million viewers during gameplay, meaning viewership actually declined heading into halftime rather than spiking. In raw terms, that's a drop of nearly 9.6 million viewers from the game's peak audience to the halftime performance. For an event traditionally designed to hold or grow audience retention, that dip is noticeable. The correct Nielsen average now mirror the engagement patterns reported earlier by third-party measurements firm Samba TV. Oh yeah, I think I've seen like the Samba. On the other hand, until earlier this week, I didn't even know who DSP is, and I definitely don't feel smarter for knowing. Oh, dude, the DSP rabbit hole is amazing. Oh man, if you ever like find the willpower to go down a good dark side Phil rabbit hole and have a good laugh, that's amazing. I think there is someone on YouTube called Down the Rabbit Hole that does a good job doing that. There's probably updated ones too, because that man's journey is never ending. Never ending indeed. Nope. .jpg. You just gotta know just to be like, wow, someone out there. You just gotta, if you can learn to laugh at the abyss, you'll make sure you don't fall into the abyss. So here's a Benny Johnson. Don't know who that is. So there's that dip that they're talking about. Whoa. There's Samba TV. So it's Samba's minute-by-minute smart TV data indicated Super Bowl viewership peaked late in the second quarter. It fell off roughly 88% of peak during halftime. That reflects about a 12% decline as the show began. At the time, the data set appeared to contradict the early record viewership narrative. Oh, Benny Johnson's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not familiar with him. He might, you know how X is. Basically a normal guy. We're just normal men. With finalized Nielsen numbers now showing lower average and reduced retention, the two measurement system tell a more consistent story. Halftime did not generate a surge in audience. So how did the inflated figure dominate early coverage? Preliminary ratings are often built from fast release projection models combining the broadcast audience, the streaming platforms, mobile viewing, out-of-home measurement, and co-viewing estimates. These models prioritize speed over precision, allowing networks and media outlets to publish attention-grabbing headlines before final reconciliation occurs. I mean, they're going to do that anyway. That's just in general. They're always going to do that. Anybody does that. It's going to be amazing. And then the results come in. And then it's like, how much do you cope? And like I said, that's for anything, really. Once Nielsen completes its verified averages, those projections are often revised. Quietly. Has a normal family, a bunch of kids, has common sense. You know, a normal person. Well, the norm is not becoming norm, it seems. Some reason I thought this was like Fight Night round 3. Because that's what it like the graphics like. There's all these look exactly like the graphics from a Fight Night game. Expanded measurements. Okay. Adding further context, the Super Bowl LX was measured under Nelson's updated big data plus panel methodology. So the newer system incorporates broader viewing environments than prior years, including mobile devices, tablets, and PCs, streaming distributors. Expanded out-of-home viewing. In theory, that wider net should inflate total audience measurements compared to older panel. Yeah, exactly. And yet, even with the expanded counting method, the halftime show still fell below the prior year's record. That makes the year-over-year drop more difficult to dismiss as a measurement anomaly. So as the ratings correction circulated, the coverage emphasis began to shift, like it always does. Rather than continuing to frame the show as a record-setting television, outlets pivoted towards alternative success indicators, such as the social media impressions, the viral video clips, streaming music boosts, and international engagement. Those metrics track cultural conversation, not television retention. They measure reach, not how many viewers stay tuned in live. And the halftime Super Bowl isn't just about attracting viewers, it's about holding them. Channel switching during the Super Bowl is historically difficult due to the event scale and advertising dominance. Audience erosions during halftimes is comparatively rare, which makes the LX retention dip a meaningful data point regardless of performance, reception, or genre preference. So once finalized data replaced early projections, the narrative changes substantially. What was initially framed as record-breaking, we now have the official data. 128.2 million halftime viewers. That's down from 133.5 million from the previous year, and that's below the game's 137.8 million peak. And that measurable audience drop was as the halftime was starting up. Performance still ranks among the largest television audience of 2026. Well, yeah, it's the Super Bowl. But the claim that it shattered all-time records no longer holds up under finalized measurement. As it is often the case with fast cycle ratings report, the first headline wasn't the final story. Yeah, and you could just know that, like, if it was like Michael Jackson again, like if they had the updated stuff apart with Michael Jackson, like it would have blown out of the water easily. He looks like a typical Mormon fan. Oh, so the general public is fed up with lefty tossers and switches channels. Who would have thunk? Who would have thought? Indeed. Oh, hey, Ted Cruz Zodiac Killer. What's up, dude? It's been a while. How you doing, man? So Microsoft, rumor we just read of possibly having a price increase. How about the Steam machine? I think we read a little about this more, but here's another more current article. It could go now as high as $1,000 as Valve is forced into a corner, analyst says. Uh-oh. So the ongoing memory crisis is not only affecting gamers, but it also has proven to be a bane for Valve. Its upcoming Steam machine has been delayed because the company's still in the process of figuring out the most effective price point. A notable industry insider now shows gratitude for not having to decide a price for the Steam machine, since choosing a higher price tag would greatly upset customers, gamers. Circana's Matt Piscatilla says that Valve has been forced into a corner and can expect to satisfy both gamers and the current market conditions together. Steam Machine could turn out to be a seamless choice for high-end gamers or a platform that fails to break into the mainstream market. The outcome depends on how Valve prices the device among ongoing market conditions. Is this like an AI version of what the PS6 would look like or something? Is that what that's supposed to be? You won't be buying the Steam machine because your machine is more powerful, but I approve of it coming out. And they already said you can install any operating system you want and use it for whatever you want. See how easy it is? Well, yeah. So, in an interview with Games Radar Plus, Matt says that Valve may have to price the Steam Machine at something absurd, like as high as $1,000. Jeez. The only other choice Valve has to go nuts and price the device under $700. This would force the company to eat some of the cost with every sale inside of earning profits. At this point, all the companies need to eat the cost. This is his quote. I'm glad I'm not responsible for picking. I could see $1,000. I could see them going nuts and going under 700 if they want to eat some of those costs. Valve boasts a huge fan base due to its popular games, Steam, and its customer first approach over the years. Customer first, my butt. What about the customers that go, yeah, I don't want Steam to run. I don't want Steam being required when I want to run a game I bought digitally. I want to actually own that game, not bought a license. I don't want stupid DRM crap in there. Yeah, customer first. Therefore, many gamers will support the Steam Machine from the get-go, but Matt argues it all boils down to the price point, how many units they produce. Ted Cruz says, Gabe can afford it. Yeah. Regardless, the Steam Machine is expected to launch in the first half of 2026, despite the memory shortage. Do you think the Steam Machine would be priced nearly $1,000 given the current market conditions? Is what Tech for Gamers is asking. And you know what? I honestly wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, because everyone is going to follow what Nintendo did with their garbage, with the Switch 2 and all that stuff. And the supposed rumors of what GTA 6 going to be the first game over costing like a standard game, I think, of being over $100. Yeah. And people will gobble it up. Me, not so much. I fell out of GTA quite a while ago. Well, they do have the best refund policy. Under 2 hours from buying, you can just get a full refund, no questions asked. True. Hey, Komango over on YouTube. I never had to refund anything, but this I know, says Mr. Sadok. Indeed. Komango said, state of play ruled. Yeah, I've heard some good stuff. Like I said, I've seen announcements for Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 2 that now has freed Metal Gear Solid 4 from being only on the PS3, now coming to current gens, supposedly God of War, Metrovania type game, remasters of the God of War trilogy, I've also heard. So I also got, unfortunately, the basic copy because I didn't think I would be getting it. But I did get the base physical copy, PS5, for Resident Evil Requiem. So we'll be playing that. Probably not on day of, unless Amazon's really good at getting it quick. But I don't know. But I do plan on playing that. And I do need to pick up Expedition 33. So here's some, speaking of Metal Gear Solid, Hideo Kojima over at Video Game Chronicle here, according to this article, says he talked to Vince Zampelli about making a Metal Gear shooter at Respawn. Huh. So Kojima's claimed that he and Call of Duty co-creator Vince Zampella, did I say Zampelli at first, or Zampelli at first? Whatever. Any case, once discussed making a Metal Gear shooter at Respawn. So speaking during a video package at DICE 2026 during a Remembering a Titan keynote on Zampella's life and work, Kojima said the conversation took place following the launch of Metal Gear Solid 4, 2008. So in 2010, Zampella and Jason West were fired from Call of Duty maker Infinity Ward and set up Titanfall and Apex Legends Studios Respawn. Man, just make Titanfall. Simpelli. Zimpelli. Whatever. We can't bash on him because he did help create Titanfall. But I am mad that they sacrificed Titanfall for gay-ass Apex Legend. The Metal Gear Solid shooter discussed with Kojima was one of the options being considered as Respawn was being founded, the Death Stranding designer said. When Kojima himself went independent to build Kojima Productions, he said he sought Zampella's advance about setting up his own studio after his experience at Respawn. Without him, the gaming industry wouldn't be what it is today, said Kojima, referring to Zampella. Kojima was paying tribute to Zampella alongside Phil Spencer, Geoff Keighley, Laura Miele, Todd Howard, Randy Pitchford, Ted Price, and many more who talked about Zampella's impact on their work, their lives, and in the industry in general. Rumor has that Expedition 666 will be the sequel. I.e. Respawn founder, oh my gosh. Oh wait, this guy's actually passed away? I was just getting tired of saying Zampella. We'll just call him from Vince. Well, rest in peace, Vince. I didn't know he passed away. He tragically died in a car accident in December. This December? I think I remember seeing about that. I just didn't really look too much into it. Dang. He was one of the most prominent figures in video games, best known for his significant influence on the first-person shooter genre. So, notably, he led Medal of Honor, Allied Assault, co-created Call of Duty and Modern Warfare, and his studio Respawn created Titanfall and Apex Legends. Most recently, he oversaw the critically acclaimed Battlefield 6. So at the DICE event, EA Entertainment president Laura Mila said Vince changed how games are made and, more importantly, how people are treated while making them. Xbox boss Phil Spencer also appeared on stage and said, as transcribed by GameFile, he was always able to work with the team to set the bar even higher and inspire such great work. And then Todd Howard, the Bethesda game designer, called Vince the real deal when describing their friendship, but I would always seek his advice with every game that I did or how to maneuver on all that is going in the industry. Well, there you go. There could have been a Metal Gear Solid type shooter. I mean, really, they're just saying Metal Gear shooter just because Kojima talked to him. Let's be real. But, hey, it was a discussion nonetheless. And I had this Fandom Wire too, which may cover similar topics of what we just read. Because this one says that Vince helped Kojima set up Kojima Productions. So it might look like the same thing. Oh, here you go. This is a little different. So he shared a story of how Vince helped build his current studio. Furthermore, since both their situation were somewhat similar, Kojima holds a lot of respect for Vince. Here's what he said. Gave me a lot of support and advice. He showed me a studio, and I incorporated some of the good aspects in our own studio. The good aspects? I'm curious to know what he thought what the bad aspects were. Even before leaving Konami, Kojima was in talk with Vince, and an idea had been proposed to create a FPS shooter game set. Oh, okay, so it is confirmed. So it was an idea to set it within the Metal Gear Solid franchise. Or, excuse me, Metal Gear, not just Metal Gear Solid, the Metal Gear franchise. However, it never came to life. Regardless, the inspiration Vince left was surely lasting on Kojima himself. Yeah, that guy crashed his Lambo showing off, says Komanga. Oh, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. So then we're just kind of getting a breakdown of how both Kojima and Vince were kind of similar. Founded two of the biggest studios. Had to cut ties with Infinity Ward. Same with Kojima. Reputation came out from Konami, but he had to, leave as well. Kojima himself says he was also a big fan of Vince's work as he marveled over the impact of Call of Duty and Medal of Honor. While Vince's passing was tragic, he contributed. His contributions are etched into the industry. So this is Laura's quote. His legacy isn't just in the franchises or awards. It lives in every studio that chooses trust over fear, craft over shortcuts, people over ego. Oh, yeah, and this is a rather one, too, so. Manga said, correction, it was a Ferrari. Okay. Well, yeah. That is unfortunate. So this has always been a topic of discussion when it came, ever since the remakes of Resident Evil came out. Will they do Resident Evil 5? Because back then it was still like, "Ooh, racism because you're, killing a bunch of black people and blah, 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 and stuff." And then when all the remakes were happening, everyone was laughing because it's like, oh my gosh, we're going to hear this again with Resident Evil 5. And it always seems like, it's like Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 3, Resident Evil 4, and Code Veronica, and just, like skips it. So Capcom is currently on a roll with the Resident Evil franchise in recent years. The multiple successful remakes and the upcoming mainline entry makes it one of the most influential horror IPs of all time. Besides the rumored Code Veronica and Zero remakes, a new ESRB rating now teases that the studio is also preparing a full-fledged Resident Evil 5 remake, or at least a remaster. Resident Evil 5 is going to have censorship. If they're kind of if they're really holding off, like remaking everything and then are coming to the one that they deem the most problematic when it's not, something's going to be changed. Which is funny because they actually put what's her name? I forget her name. Thought it starts with a Z. I can't remember though, but you already had her in there, which was fine. It wasn't a big deal. The demo came out and everyone thought it was fine. So it is expected to be revealed at the PlayStation State of Play on February 12th or in March. Well, I haven't heard anything about this was a yesterday article. Haven't heard anything about it today, so methinks nothing was talked about. So this article is kind of outdated. But it's also claiming something relating to the game could be happening in March. Oh, Sheva. Wow, I was way off. That's right. It is okay. The latter seems more likely, as the voice actor for one of the Resident Evil 5's main protagonists, Sheva Alomar, also recently teased that something related to the game was happening in March. Ooh. In the past, a Resident Evil 5 remake was teased via a cutscene in the Resident Evil 4 remake. Rumbling on the Steam page of the original game has also implied the same before. Oh, I didn't know there was like a cutscene. Therefore, those corroborations suggest that we are getting a revisit to Resident Evil 5 in some capacity at least. Another batch of rumors suggests that Capcom is planning to release a Resident Evil Code Veronica or Zero remake NES. In the best case scenario, it's possible that all these remakes in the series are in the works and will be launched over time. I think that's the thing. I think Capcom would be too stupid enough to remake every single Resident Evil game, but then leave out 5. Like, that create more of a target. Like, that would be more glaring, What was the cutscene? Resident Evil 4 remake hints at Resident Evil 5 remake. So where's this cutscene? This is back of April in 2023. So I guess in Wesker's scene in the final cutscene has several connections to Resident Evil 5, as the underground garden can be seen at the center of the screen, which is a key location in Resident Evil 5, as it is the place where the progenitor virus originated from. Okay. Moreover, Excella Gion can also be seen on the left side of the screen. She partnered with Wesker during the game, and these ties to Resident Evil 5 may indicate that Capcom is already considering the remake. Maybe Resident Evil 4 wasn't out yet. This doesn't make sense, though. I'm just wondering why they didn't choose to take a screenshot of the picture talking about the cutscene. Instead, they just threw a picture of Leon up there. Whatever. But it could be possible that Capcom's coming in hot. Just like the Gears of War remakes will have censorship. I think Phoenix was playing at least Gears of War Reloaded, and I think that was just the remaster, which I have on Xbox One, and they just made it to where now you can play 4K and all that stuff. All right, so I know on a past show we did talk about the Fable, and we did watch the trailer, and then there was that guy at the end. I was like, who's that guy? Like some black dude with glasses or something. But the Fable creator Peter Molyneux, or No, Happy Series is continuing, but thinks the reboot looks too clean. Yeah, there's some beautiful ladies in Resident Evil 5 that will be toned down for the modern audience, says Komanga. Have a good night, Mr. Sonic. Zardoc. Take care. Thanks for hanging whenever you can. So, in breaking with the popular consensus among longtime Fable fans, original series creator Peter Molyneux is unabashedly excited for Playground Games' upcoming reboot, even if he feels its current aesthetic feels too antiseptic for the world at hand. Well, first off, you got that problem right there. The player receives their first true weapon in Fable. And I think she's gone because the newest trailer showed the male instead, and because people were not happy about this. Speaking recently with IGN's Simon Cardy in promotion of Masters of Albion, which after roughly 3 years of development is officially set to release on March 22nd. Gosh, what's this guy's first name? Peter. I'm just going to say Peter. Peter was at one point asked as to what thoughts, if any, he had on regarding the next Fable title. In turn, oh, is this him? Well, this says the player comes face to face with a newly grown giant. Yeah, who the hell is this guy? Is that supposed to be Peter? I don't know. I thought it was whatever. I don't care. In turn, the veteran game dev admitted that despite not being at its helm, when I was watching the Fable trailer, I just felt myself tearing up. I know that I could probably be slaughtered for saying that, but I am someone who cries frequently. Dude, no one cares. I'm sorry. Fine, you weep. That's fine. Yeah, there's people out there like, oh, men don't cry. Yeah, whatever. Who cares? And I feel incredibly emotional. And the reason I felt emotional was, fuck me. This thing that we created, it's going to live. It's going to carry on. This world which we love creating so much and other people loved has a life. Peter further noted that the Fable reboot brought him a particularly spark of joy because, quote, for me, the saddest thing would be to see it diminish, which is one of the reasons I'm really going back to God games. So that was the overall emotion. I thought it was really smart of them to retell Fable 1 rather than have the burden of continuing the Fable story. I love seeing more of those references. I thought it was super smart to have the kid's family turn to stone. I thought that was really smart, and so those were all the plus points. What? They turned to stone? But I thought that they got murked. Turning to stone and doesn't have to me, it doesn't have the same impact. I don't know. Of course, as with anyone being intellectually honest about even their favorite piece of media, Peter was not without his criticisms regarding Playground Games' effort, as he subsequently told Cardy, I mean, if I was critical, which I think you want me to be, there was a slight antiseptic feel about it. But I mean, they've gotten months and months to build in that character and almost the dirtiness that you would want in the world. I never thought Fable as being clean and all the angles being sharp and defined. It's more chaotic. It's more what old England probably used to be, which was not straight lines. The place, it's more crinkling. All the buckle belts on people are ridiculously large, and the boots and the hands ridiculously large because that is part of the character. So there's a little bit more of that character, which I would probably foolishly and ridiculously ask for. So while the Fable creator is clearly a fan of the game's recent trailer, one wonders if his feelings will at all sour up upon learning of the various gameplay changes being made to the series' original formula, like doing away with the morally alter appearances mechanics to the introduction of the office-style camera gags. Really? Morality alters appearance? They got rid of that? Why would you do that? That sounds retarded. Ultimately, the answer remains to be revealed when the Fable reboot releases later this year. So, like I said, this is what I saw from Tech for Gamers. A rumored God of War Metroidvania game could be multi-platform, the first game in the series to skip exclusivity at launch. So the God of War franchise has been synonymous with success. Almost every release has been critically received, making it one of the most beloved game franchise ever. Soon we could get a new entry, but apparently not a mainline game. There has long been rumors of a God of... Well, I threw the word long in there, but there have been rumors of a God of War 2.5D Metroidvania game for the longest time. It is expected to be announced at the upcoming State of Play, but it very well could have turned out to be... This was yesterday's article too, so I don't think that could be the case because I'm not seeing it. But I did see an announcement for a remastering of the trilogy. But more importantly, it could be the first major game in the series to skip exclusively at launch. And analysts and experts have claimed that the multi-platform is the way forward to tackle increasing game budgets. So while Sony isn't going into it as aggressively as Microsoft, it is now focused on other platforms too. Yeah, especially with Gears of War. You can play that on PlayStation now. So leaker Nate the Hate says that when the rumors of the God of War Metroidvania emerged, there were plans that it would be a multi-platform release. While he isn't sure if that become a reality, there is a solid chance. Launching the game on multiple platforms would make sense to help reach a wider audience. Okay, you kind of already stated that already. Since the Lego Horizon game launched on Switch, the God of War title could be a really great fit for the Switch too. But for now, we have to take it with a grain of salt. And it sounds like it has not been announced. Wait, Konami debuts Silent Hill Townfall with atmospheric horror game player. Okay, so I guess there's now a new Silent. Like I said. Oh, here you go. It was announced right there. So we've got Silent Hill, Death Stranding 2, Lionsgate AAA John Wick game officially unveiled. Ooh. Let's check it out. Dude, that'd be pretty sick. John Wick game.
A man with your skill set must be able to move unconstrained, unrestricted. Versatile, capable, adaptable.
I don't know if I'll get struck with copyright, but so we're kind of skipping it. And my question is this in-game combat or not? I mean, this is impressive. It should be. There he is.
Yeah.
And of course, Keanu. Oh, here you go. Captured on the PS5. Dude, sick. Nice. Mr. Anderson. Dude, sick. Yeah, I'll definitely pick that game up as long as it's not dumb or anything. So this is Silent Hill Townfall. All right, so this the new... This looks like a new Silent Hill game, which I've watched people play Silent Hill F. I'm not going to play that game. I feel like everyone says Silent Hill 1 through 4 is like the best, and then pretty much after that, it's like, what's the point? What's that, an old flip phone or something?
I woke up in the water again. But this time it's different.
Okay, is there any like monsters or anything?
But no matter what I do,
You can't fix it.
We need the truth. Oh my gosh.
Change things. You did what you did.
What, you died at a hospital or something? Okay. All right. I mean, I didn't find those guys to be kind of scary. I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. I have no idea. However, and as we saw, I did say God of War Trilogy remake officially announced with original Kratos actor reprising the role. Oh, so they're actually re-recording the lines too? Wow.
Hey, what's happening, fam? And I want you to know as happy and excited.
Milking Silent Hill.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you. So, closing, I want to say...
Okay, whatever. I'll watch these at full speed, kind of offline, because I don't know if I'll be struck. Here you go. So here is your Metroidvania. It was announced. God of War Sons of Sparta 2D. So it's been making the rounds, and it looks like it has finally been announced. God of War Sons of Sparta has officially been announced. So the gaming giant appears keen on expanding the franchise with different types. Oh, Deimos, his younger brother. Yeah, you actually see him in one of the games. I can't remember which ones. I think it was one of the PSP games. We played them both not super long ago. So Deimos, yeah, sports a shield and a spear. I mean, I do like me a Metroidvania type game. We just got done beating Bloodstained. Mega Cat. Captured on PS5 Pro. Let's kind of skip through here. Oh, there you go.
Spartans! Our duty is to Sparta. Fear is a reaction. Courage is a decision. Press your attack! Don't relent! Never on our backs! Never left behind!
I'm surprised they didn't go more like 3-point, I know they call it like 2.5D. I'm surprised they didn't like go more 3D like with the models and stuff. Like literally like what we just played with like Bloodstain, kind of like that element. Okay. Interesting. I don't know. Not my favorite artistic choice. Yeah, but yeah, looks like the state of play has some banger announcements. So, Discord is going to be implementing a universal age verification as a requirement to interact among adult communities. So, apparently, 5 Discord alternatives you can download right now. So, many individuals are looking for alternatives with searches for such programs exploding over the past couple days. We put together a list of 5 potential alternatives to Discord that are relatively easy to use, though don't quite have Discord's level of proliferation. You might be asking yourself, what's the problem? Isn't this about keeping kids safe? While that's a laudable goal, information gathering, like what's required for age verification, is a potential threat to users' privacy and safety. To their credit, Discord has attempted to mitigate these issues by moving their facial verifications to be client-side only, but that's still not a guarantee for safety. Especially if the facial recognition fails and Discord asks for a government ID to continue. Last October, a third-party vendor that assisted Discord in verifying ages to comply with the UK's overly broad Online Safety Act experienced a cyber attack which allowed malicious actors to access uploaded government ID. They knew this would happen and they don't care. They knew about it. Saving dev time, Concord nearly ruined Sony. Critics of these safety measures share concern about privacy and also point a finger at parents who either are unable or unwilling to monitor their children's internet access and have important conversations with their kids. With that said, here are 5 alternatives to Discord, all with varying levels of privacy and functionality. So you got Steam Chat. In true Valve fashion, we may be seeing another case of Valve winning because their competition shoots themselves in the foot. Steam Chat has always been there lurking beneath our glut of apps. It features group chats, gaming track, voice chats, many things that Discord offers. We admit that it might be a bit more difficult to join and find non-game relating communities, but for anyone wanting to cut down on bloatware in your mostly games anyway, go ahead and dust off the old Steam Chat. TeamSpeak, I remember TeamSpeak back in the day. TeamSpeak hasn't been shy about dancing on Discord's potential grave as it's being dug. Discord can always walk back these changes. TeamSpeak offers a variety of familiar features such as voice calls, groups, but suffers from the issue of discoverability for less tight-knit communities. What it lacks in reach can make up for privacy and functionality. Apparently, there's something called the Matrix. It's privacy-oriented, decentralized chat protocol, can be accessed through a variety of clients. This means that users have greater control over what they install on their machines and how to interact with others and how they interact. Interesting. You got Signal. Some users even use it to replace SMS for more security among friends. Unlike Matrix, Signal is a little easier to use and it's more widely known. However, like most applications which focus on privacy, Signal also suffers from a lack of community to discover. I feel like all of these is going to be a lack of community to discover. This is a feature as much as it is a problem. Less discovery means more privacy. However, this amount of privacy makes Signal, a great choice for existing friends or groups that advertise off platform. Then there's Stoat, formerly Revolt. And that's what they bought. There was another one that someone asked me to kind of do that was Discord based. Join Matrix to get away from the Matrix. You know it. And another thing talking about, kind of to wrap up the stream here, is Spider-Noir trailer with Nick Cage has come out. It's going to be in black and white. It's just been released. Looks iconic. Nicolas Cage bringing in that Cage factor. The trailer is awesome and brings in that noir detective feel very well. In fact, the original Prime Video series has done the noir feel so well that they've been releasing the entire show, or they will be releasing it in black and white, which I feel would be quite appropriate. So you can watch it on Prime Video. Of course, the biggest question on everyone's mind would be, why is Nicolas Cage's Spider-Man black and white? Well, let me tell you, you are not alone in that thought. Okay, these are like Gen Z people that wouldn't understand. And I feel like a quick Google search could explain this. But it's a tribute to film noir. It's from the 40s and 50s Hollywood crime dramas, known for their heavy shadows, cynical detectives, and black and white cinematography. The other part is that this version of Spider-Man noir, Peter Parker, comes from a universe that is entirely black and white. Because he comes from a world without color, he is famously fascinated and confused by a Rubik's Cube. In the new Amazon series where Cage plays Ben Reilly, not Peter Parker, the black and white look is a stylistic choice rather than a biological one. However, that's simply not the end of the tale, as Prime Video will simply not let the audience watch Spider-Man in black and white. Naturally, Prime Video will also release another format of the show in true hue color. But I feel like you should definitely watch them in black and white. But yeah, you can watch the trailer. Looks pretty interesting. They had an interesting thing because it
Wait. What the hell happened to him?
I beat up some guys in a bar.
I beat up. Oh, Cage.
And I got plastered.
Nick looks perfect for a black and white series. Yeah. There's some clicks with no power. Comes no responsibility, which is interesting. Very interesting, because you'll see at the end here. I've seen this already. Yeah, see that? He makes the hand gestures like he's going to shoot webs. And then it appears that he actually can shoot webs. Definitely makes you feel of L.A. Noir, too. But to end with bounding into comics, they kind of explain that the reason why Ben Reilly, as Nick Cage's alter ego, was chosen is because a clone was easier to sell as old and jaded compared to Peter Parker, which that does make sense. So while the decision being one of the upcoming MGM's Amazon series most head-scratching, Spider-Man Noir production team says they chose Ben Reilly as the live-action alter ego of Nick Cage's fedora web-slinger because the usually scarlet-clad clone's history made it name easier to sell him as a jaded detective compared to Peter Parker. I think they could have worded that better. So the insight of the hero's live-action name change was provided by series showrunner Oren Uziel and producer Phil Lord and Chris Miller, the latter two whose previous Spider experience included their helming of the animated Spider-Verse franchise and its aforementioned star Cage during a recent interview given to Esquire's Anthony Breznican in service of the outlet's February Spider-Man Noir cover story. Noting that in addition to his alter ego, the titular hero's costumed Identify will also be renamed from Spider-Man Noir to the more pulp reminiscent The Spider for partially the same reasons. Uziel explained that Ben was chose to lead the series over any potential take on Peter because the latter, Peter Parker, feels very synonymous with a high school kid, boyish on his way up. Ben Reilly has already gone through the entire arc and seen it all. He's over it and he's trying to move past it, but his past kind of keeps coming back to haunt him. It's just a different version that we haven't seen before. To this end, Miller further detailed how this character is very different from the Peter Parker from the movies. He's old and jaded, not afraid to punch a guy in the face drunkenly, with Lord adding that Ben already had his Chinatown disillusionment moment that happened years and years ago. However, more than just a play at being different than most Spider-Man adaptations, and ostensibly difference to various rights, contracts regarding character names and depictions. Yeah, I have to be coy about the reason because you'll find out, but the reason he's named Ben Reilly is explained. Ooh. And then putting a stamp on the matter, Cage himself told Breznican, there's a reason for it, believe it or not, above and beyond just mashing the flavors in 1930s film performance and Marvel iconography. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but There's an actual reason, an origin story why Ben talks the way he talks, but you'll get to that in a later episode. Ooh, I remember this from the animated series. Yeah, that's Ben Reilly. Then we kind of get a rundown of just like probably an origin story of Ben. Particularly curious move considering that there exists no version of Ben across the entire Marvel multiverse that has ever even glanced at a fedora, much less donned the hair-boiled moniker. Spider-Man Noir's team's reasoning only serves to raise more questions about the name change, as if they really wanted an established Spider-Man-related comic book character whose identity could be more easily believed as an angsty pulp protagonist. They could have gone Peter's other clone, Kane. Born deformed and slightly unhinged from reality thanks to a flaw in the Jackal's cloning process and holding a grudge against his father and brothers for his circumstance, Kane was almost ripped straight from the pages of a 1960s detective novella, and yet they decided to go with Ben, who for all intents and purposes literally and figuratively is Peter Parker number 2. Hell, Ben just spent a good chunk of a current Amazing Spider-Man Volume 7 flawlessly impersonating Peter. And there you go. So a strange decision no matter how one approaches it. The true mystery behind Ben Reilly's appearance in Spider-Man Noir will be revealed in the Nick Cage-led series debut sometime later this year. That's interesting, because if there was someone in there called Kane, that could have been more appropriate. But we'll see it. We'll see what turns out. I am definitely interested in it. There you go, pups. That's all I had for you tonight. So hope you enjoyed it. We got to see some state of play. We've got to see some trailers, all that fun stuff. So hope you enjoyed it. We were live on YouTube, Rumble, and X. So feel free to hit that like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. If you don't, that's fine. You can hit the dislike. You can leave a comment. Whatever you would like. Will I read them? Who knows? Probably not. My friend Drunk 3PO, if I can talk, is online. He's doing some Fortnite, it would appear. So we'll show him some love. And over, anybody on Rumble? Alex Zedra is playing Outlast. We'll rate her. All right, pups. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Take care. Have a good rest of your night. Tomorrow we will be continuing Punch Out Wii, and hopefully we can beat Bald Bull. And then we'll start up a next game here coming up. Probably, Resident Evil Requiem's going to be coming up soon. So catch you guys later. Take care and God bless. Peace.